Today we want to look at the government, the masses, the people and government's policies. These policies, before they come in, they are promises. Policies, promises. Before they became policies, they were promises made by politicians. And it is these promises that made you and I vote for any one of them that occupy public office. Having occupied public office, it is now their responsibility to transform those promises into policies and ensure that those promises they have made becomes policies and see the light of the day. But unfortunately in Nigeria, what we see is that once our political elites get to office, they forget the promises and they do any other thing apart from implementing those policies, which becomes policies that they bring out whichever way. Sometimes they maneuver it, sometimes they paint it, sometimes they turn it around and bring out something and push it, that's what government wants to do. No problem. But our own issue today that we want to look at is that why is it that those things that government now has taken up as a policy that they want to carry out, why is it that it does not see the light of the day? Or if indeed it sees the light of the day, it is done haphazardly? Is it the economic policy, bringing down the rate of the naira? Is it in terms of job opportunities and employment, increase in employment opportunities? Is it in the area of industrialization, increasing the industrial capacity? Is it in terms of power supply, electricity, I mean? Is it in terms of road infrastructure, improving in road infrastructure? Is it in our health? Now, there is, even if some people want to cure headache, they have to go outside Nigeria. Is it in terms of food? Not to talk of even transportation. Then, of course, the almighty, do I mention it? Pump at the PMS, that's petrol. All these are issues that revolve around promises by the politicians, and they now revolve and become government policy. We have a guest in the studio who really adequately experienced in this, who engage us and who teach us and take us around this issue. And it's no other person than Comrade Akintunde Adedeji. Comrade?
So it's a pleasure having me.
You're welcome to
Thanks,
this program.
For having me.
Of course, I don't need to bring out his designation. Once he's a comrade, you know that he's a human rights activist. And of course, he's a leader in the civil society group. And of course, we want to look at how all these things should work out for us as a people, the way forward. Comrade, once more, welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir.
And the issue on ground, the policies of government, their promises vis-a-vis the masses. How does it sit with you?
First and foremost, let me say I really appreciate you for having me once again on these programs. And the topic for today, to me, is very interesting and speaks directly to the welfare, of the people of this country. And when we are talking of the government, and its policies, which would affect the well-being and welfare of the people, I think we have to look at it from the angle of when the political office holders who are in office now start with their campaign promises, which they call manifestos.
Mm-hmm.
Now telling the electorates and the voters that the moment they emerge and occupy offices, they're going to do a lot of things to better the lives of the masses. It becomes so unfortunate and disappointing by the time they are voted into offices. those promises which transform to policies are jettisoned for reasons best known to them, maybe because of their self-centeredness, because most of these politicians doesn't have the interest of the masses or the electorate at heart. That is why, and if peradventure, or let me say inadvertently, some of these policies are implemented, and they are tailored towards making life miserable to the people, and which we call anti-masses or anti-people policies, which impact negatively on the lives of the average Nigerians. I think in your intro you've touched on those policies that can make life meaningful, and to the average Nigerian. We're talking of qualitative education, transportation, and regular power supply, healthcare deliveries, and just name them. And as we speak now, all those aspirations of the masses and the electorate to see that dividend of democracy that should be accrued to them and non-existent. And well, I can conveniently say that it's a failure on the part of the government to have done nothing to alleviate the suffering of the masses. I think it has become a abysmal failure on the part of the political office holders and the people at the ends of affairs to have not lived to expectation and see that life is meaningful and worth living for the masses.
Talking about life worth living, everyone knows that the main role of government is the security and welfare of the people. But we'll not even go into that. It's like a broken record. I want us to look at 1, 2, or 3 issues now. One, housing, which is in a serious deficit ever since I've been a kid. And of course, I remember during the Governement administration, they've been talking about housing, government building more housing for the needs of the people, because the private people cannot make that come to pass in a way that it will meet up with the demands of the people. The only government that I can say really did something serious about housing was the late LKJ, as we call him.
Jakonde.
That's Jakonde. He's the one who did what we call mass. Well, the other person that we'll look at is Sani Abacha with his Gwarimpa housing estate in Abuja. Apart from those two, I'm still looking at and stretching and scratching to thinking about any other government that did such a housing policy or project for the people. My issue now, and the question I want to ask you, is that is it a difficult thing to build houses for the masses, taking into consideration the mass of the land that we have, and of course the material that are available? Don't forget, I can assure you that Nigeria and the government is not short of fund to fund this project. But the problem is why, and the question is why.
Well, that is, to me, is the absolute and utter neglect, and rejection of the people by the people at the ends of affairs. Housing, just as you have rightly said, providing affordable, accommodation to the teeming, masses, in this country, it's not rocket science. If the government, desirous and are well-meaning, and have the interest, of the people, and at heart, So that is why, we have, a big deficit, just to have rightly put it, of, housing, for, the masses in this country. And the government, is not looking towards that direction. And due to that deficit, we have seen a situation whereby, many Nigerians and homeless don't have where to lay their heads, to put their heads on. And the individuals who are not, government-owned, accommodations, are not within the reach of the average Nigerians, and you see government, because of their failure in this, aspect, where, the economy, instead of them, to buckle up, and do something, drastically to make sure, they reduce the deficit of, housing and accommodation. They are planning to formulate policies and regulate, the individual, the private landlords who are making life, very difficult, for tenants. Since, you are feeling your own statutory, responsibility and duty to provide, accommodation and housing. What, what right, have you? What power have you over, individuals, who provide, accommodation, and you now dictate, how, how they, how they manage, their, affairs. To me, in that regards, the government, needs, to declare, a state of emergency in virtually all, the economic sector, not only housing, in virtually all the, the critical sector of this country, so that, the masses, can have that sense of belonging, that, they are living in the country, yeah,
of their own. So let us look at another issue, because I have listed them that these are policies of government that ought to see the light of the day, and I don't think it's rocket science. Another one is health. The well-being of a nation is determined by the health status of the people. A situation where many people take to medical tourism, as they call it, going outside Nigeria, seeking medical attention, is a shame on government. And to us, is it difficult to do what we call a comprehensive health, or providing comprehensive health for the people?
And just as the saying goes, that, health is wealth, because, a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. On the part of the government, as regards, the health sector, saying no is a shame, is an understatement. It's a big failure on their own part. Because let's take a look at, from the primary health center, to the secondary and to the tertiary. They are non-existent, in my own estimation, because walking into a primary, healthcare center, to get, a qualitative, healthcare delivery, become, a gargantuan task, to me. And you see, the people at the helms of affairs, this is, where, they have failed, totally.
Let me cut in here. Last week we were caught in a serious traffic, and in fact my brother that was with me in the car was saying, assuming there is someone who is ill at the point of death, that needs just maybe 21 hours to save him, and here we are in a terrible standstill for hours, not to talk of a pregnant woman in labor, or even accident victims that is losing blood. But the issue is that a dispensary just by the roadside on the expressway will do some touch-up, will save a life, will give people first aid. Is it difficult to set those things up taking into consideration, particularly the issue of accidents, road accidents that occurs in fact by the minute in this country?
It is not difficult, and so it's not rocket science, because if the government have the interest of the masses at heart, I think the well-being and welfare of the people should be their utmost priority, because of their self-centeredness, their selfishness. That is why they prefer to look after their own well-being, rather than the people who they preside over the affairs and administration, which is quite unfortunate. And that is why you see, because they have the way and means to assess a qualitative care healthy. That is why even if they experience just ordinary headache, most of them get out of the country and not from their own purse, from taxpayers' money. And the people are left at their own are left to their own fate, which is quite worrisome and very saddening, because each time I said it, that this country, we've never had it so bad since this current administration, because nothing seems to work without sounding immodest. Nothing is working as I speak. And take for instance, when the man at the Aso Rock now, when on the day of inauguration, without even settling down in office, declare, make a proclamation that it's removing free subsidy, and we are feeling the pains and pangs till date, which revolves around, because anything that has to do with fuel affects virtually other sectors.
Now that you have touched it, the place I'll just go is the issue of these refineries. Is it impossible to get it working or get them working? Is it impossible? Because it's one of the policies and the promises of Tinubu that is going to get the refineries on once he gets elected. Is it difficult for government, because it has been an issue? I'm sure you remember Tam David West then, and of course don't forget that there was a time that the issue around the time the refineries is turnaround maintenance. Right, and of course we had a minister who was Tam David West, Tam. So from then till now, it is this problem of turnaround maintenance problem. Is it only in Nigeria that you have refineries? Why is it that we are having such problems in Nigeria?
Nigerians, as a case study, this country, our dysfunctional refineries, basically, can be traced, it all boils down, to corruption. There are no two ways about it. It's corruption. We have 4 refineries that are comatose now. What stop the government from making sure those refineries are functioning to optimal capacity? Truly, millions of dollars are being pumped into the turnaround maintenance of those refineries, but the result are still the same. Now, even though if you are not making it a point of duty to make sure those refineries are working, then what about modular refineries? Modular refineries are springing up from virtually all the regional the regions of the country. If it is those one you want to dissipate much resources and energy on, I think let's see it comes to light. Not now that a private home refinery by Dangote where Nigerians now have a certain percentage as a stakeholder, which is quite it's really an eyesore for Nigerians who pride themselves as giant of Africa, having 4 refineries. You know, there are whole smaller African countries, you know, who are not oil producing, you know, nations, and no, with their refineries, they serve, you know, the production output, you know, and the consumption, output, of the masses. It is not difficult for the government, to fix the refineries, because of the corruption that permeates, pervades, that sector. That is.
Yes. Sorry to cut him, but now they are talking about refineries and so on. I'm looking at it that way. If a country cannot fix its refinery, how can it now progress industrially? Because what I say is that Nigeria is a country that imports everything. The companies that are really producing are just producing shadow products, not real term products. Products that sometimes are things that are done by small companies, and we're looking at industrialization, where you produce mass clothing, mass toys, mass plates, mass utensils, houseware. You see all these things. They are simple things to produce, but producing them is difficult. One, because of the cost of production, and the general issue is the issue of this power supply. Is this something that will continue with us forever? Because I can assure you that when I was a kid till now, the issue of the Mambila Power project is still on the board, on the table of the government. It's a project that does not have an end, and I don't think it should be so. The Dangote that you mentioned, it was as if a private refinery can never come on board, and that refinery is something that is difficult to set up. And here we are, done by a private company within years, and there we are ever since they have started supplying. And of course, in fact, the shame of it is that government relies on them. This issue of power, can't we get out of the problem of the Mambila hydroelectric project?
Well, it takes a selfless, leadership, leaders,
Selfish.
very selfless, to actualize all those, highlighted, policies, that would affect, the masses, positively. Because let me tell you, if you have the fear of God, and I don't think, that exists in their lexicon.
Yes.
Because it is me, myself, and I. If that is the mindset of an average politicians, I think nothing will work. That is why just just a handful who are selfless, which are not many, will see them doing great things to make sure life worthwhile for the people. Now, Nigerians are known to be a consuming nation. How would a country of over 200 million with the best brains, that people who are top class, technocrats who can turn things around, now be relegated to a class of consuming nation instead of a production nation, which is quite very worrisome. So it's not something that is so difficult to do if those people who are at the ends of your fear are very
Pragmatic.
Are very pro people. Because being pragmatism, as being practical about what you profess, it comes into play as well, that you need to match your words with actions. Not just making a political statement that you are going to do this or that. At the end of the day, you failed the people.
Okay.
So it takes a lot of I think a lot of self-evaluation, so they need to evaluate, exactly their proper priorities, and they do something worthwhile for the people.
Yes. We just quickly go on a short break, and that when we come back, then we'll now begin our homework front journey. Don't go away. Maybe I didn't remember to tell you. If anything at all, please just go to the app, your phone app. You can watch us on the go. Just go to the Galaxy app after you have done that from Play Store. And of course, you will get us real time, on time. And of course, we will be part of this conversation. Don't go away. We'll just go on a short break and back. Welcome back. It's still Voters Forum, Galaxy Television, from the city of Lagos. And I'm sure you'll be watching us from all over the world. Before we went on that short break, I was trying to inform people, particularly those who are very busy, who want one activity or the other to do, that they can just go to Play Store and get the the Galaxy Galaxy app, and of course they move it on from there. They will see us real time, on time, and join us in this conversation. And before we came back, during the short break, we are discussing one issue that makes life easy, is the issue of empowerment. Empowerment, maybe we'll marry it with employment. Empowerment, business as it were. Employment, giving people jobs, job opportunities. Well, in school I read about one man called Napoleon Bonaparte. He looked at it that the cause of the French Revolution was people who are not employed, and so on and so forth. And of course, it brought about increasing the price of common bread. And one way or the other, he got himself to power. And the first thing he did was to get all the young men employed. Sort of an agency like Babangida tried to do with the D-Free thing or the NDE. And both of them, they were twin sisters. Unfortunately, they are moribund today. I don't know why. So those ones, their agency, their work was to employ young men. They will be, some will be digging, and some will be covering, just to give them work to do, just to fulfill that principle that an empty hand or an empty hand is a late devil's workshop. And that worked for Napoleon. And I'm sure Gaddafi too took that line, the late Gaddafi in Libya. So I don't know what's difficult in government setting up such agency, getting people, the youths particularly. And you know, we have an army of youths who are just idle. They want to do something. I have a small work project that I handle and that I engage youths, and I know what it takes. And as a pastor in a church too, I know what we do to engage youths in getting them off crime. If we can do that at a little level, government has all the apparatus and all the facility and the resources to getting people employed in that number and taking care of them. But unfortunately, I'm sure my guest will listen, knows about it, the Betty Edu, the issue that of course the money that was supposed to go for such project, and the other woman too, I've forgotten her name too, during COVID, who said she was busy feeding all the children in Nigeria, but we didn't see who were fed. But be that as it may, to us is that can't government work on employing people, creating serious mass employment? And unfortunately, Tinubu, when he was governor, did something like that, the Train Dogs project, when he employed people, the area boys and so on. I hope someone will pass this message on to him. Then the next one is empowerment. The government officers who live in opulence, the millions of naira they spend to take care of themselves alone, the luxury that they use, jetting around, going with convoys, the money they spend on frivolities. I'm sure if they share that, maybe 500,000, 200,000, will go a long way in setting up a small-scale business person who cares less about all this opulence. All he wants is just something, a small table, to buy some small wares, put it there, and people will be buying, and he too will be engaging them, and he will be a small retailer to a big distributor who will be, and that chain goes on to the manufacturer to encourage production. All these that you are saying, are they not possible in this country? First, I want to weigh on the issue of unemployment, then empowerment.
They are really possible in this country because, from a very critical survey and analysis, of what happens in this country, Nigerians are not asking for too much. To get, an average Nigerians, productively engaged in doing something, it doesn't take no much. And as we all know that, in every country, the small, medium, enterprises, drives, the economy, drives the economy. Now, what, does it take, the government in, let's take, number one, the empowerment, just, giving out, soft loans that to artisans, and people who are skilled, workers who are qualified, in one, craft or the other. Petty traders, give them money, so that they can be productively engaged, and do something meaningful and contribute to the economy of the country. But these are not being looked at by the government, and if something exists, you now realize and discover that people who are coordinating such scheme will be the one mismanaging because of corruption. So I think, I don't know, a lot of things are wrong with this country. And talking of employment, we know government cannot employ everyone. There are other private employers, but for government to do its own bit of that, I think the available little jobs that are there are for the higher bidder, because it's not for if you are a nobody, forget about it, you can't get any job from the government side. And that is why you see people.
To confirm what you just said, sorry, we in the course of one or two activities that we do as lawyers, we went to serve processes on a government agency, and one of my lawyers, he went to do the service, came back. Service means we went to give them our court papers and so on. Said, Esther, those people are enjoying that. You see the office well furnished, air conditioned, and of course they have all the arrays of amenities. And he said he looked around them, he saw that they are children of the high ups, not children of the struggling or the peasant people. And of course there are so many. And of course in the public domain too, you hear about noises about the CBN and all such Ministry of Petroleum and the NNPC and so on being peopled by children of the high ups. And of course that questions the sincerity of our leaders. In fact, when you even look at employment, is this employment opportunities thrown open to all Nigerians? Shouldn't there be now a way in this era of the internet and all, that yes, maybe it will be by exam, or it will be by application, or it will be by people coming in for interview, that you just hear that sometimes the vacancies are not publicized. You just find out that the vacancies are filled. Is it by magic? What is it how it should be, my brother?
That is not how it should be, because lack of transparency. Because any
can we put the fear of God there too?
Fear of, I think it could be a fear of God, because let me tell you, egocentric. If you are egocentric, whatever you do in life, you always thinking about yourself. That self-centeredness.
Okay.
And then that one now will culminate into not knowing that God is somewhere watching, down on you, that what you are doing, is it right or is it no good? So that is why if government had not been transparent enough when it comes to the issue of trying to make sure the people are are given jobs to survive and to sustain themselves, because in a situation whereby such scheme or project are shrouded in secrecy, You know, the jobs, you know, even if they are publicized, it's just for the formality's sake. Because, you know, those jobs now have been cornered for their cronies, you know, and their people. At the end of the day, you know, just, you know, they will keep on, you know, deceiving, you know, our brother Nigerians, you know, which is not, because the Nigerians, you know, the Nigerians, it should be for all, not for few. Yes, no, Nigerians should be for all, you know, for all of us, you know, we all are stakeholders in this country, not, you know, for few people who, simply because they are privileged. They don't have two heads, but because you are privileged, you know, to be in a position of authority.
Is it a sin? You know, when in the Bible, in the book of Matthew, when one young man was blind, he came up. People knew that he was born blind, but Jesus Christ told them that he just want to manifest the work of God, and they began to ask, his blindness is because of his own sin? Is it because of his sin of his parents? He had to, just since you brought it out, these are misfortune. Is it a sin that we don't belong, that we should not be the downtrodden, and those who take the reign of office now are better, they are now opportune than we will now be in abject poverty forever? Whereas the instrumentality of government that they use is to take care of all of us, both they who rule and those who are the ruled. Because in other climes, this is not how it is.
If you are less privileged, or you suffer from one, you know, misfortune or the other, it is not, you know, ideal. It is not, you know, good for one to rejoice or to laugh at someone that's, you know, misfortune, because you don't know what happens tomorrow. Because someone who is able-bodied.
No, I'm just using that issue. I mean that those who are in the political class see people like us as unfortunate. Is it by design or is just accident? That's why I went to the Bible concerning that man. That no, is it our fault that we are all of us can be in government? Those in government are to take care of those who are outside it. Is that not how it should be?
That is how it should be, because if you are enjoying a privilege, that doesn't mean you have two heads.
That's where I'm going.
You don't have two heads, because, you know, you can't be there till eternity. It's just for a period of time. Who told you someone who is, you know, suffer from misfortune today cannot be privileged tomorrow and occupy, you know, a privileged position in life? That is why, you know, one needs, you know, we have to be conscientious about what you do, how, you know, you administer, how, you know, you govern, how, you know, you make use of the offices, you know, because, you know, that trust, you know, that has been reposed in you, you are just a custodian of that trust. Now you should be in that custody of trust, you know, for the betterment, you know, of the people, not, you know, to make it, you know, more miserable, you know, for, you know, the livings of the people. So that is why. Because, you know, in this country, at times, you know, it baffles me, you know, because, you know, people that are voted into offices, by the time, you know, to get to offices, they turn to themselves to a demigod, as if, you know, because we are all equal before God and we are all equal before the law. But when you find yourself in a position of power, that does not make you, know, superior to people, you know, you preside. Exactly. That doesn't make you superior to people, you know, who you see as subject. Because you should see yourself, you know, as a servant who should be accounting, you know, for the stewardship, you know, that, you know, is.
Then let's round it up this way. Superiority is what now brought this question. Before they became who they were politically, they asked for people's votes. In asking for people's votes, they do it through promises. They now got the votes. It's now time to implement the policies. And they now see it that no, this policy can't be implemented this way. Or even if it's to be implemented as they have promised, it must be to their own advantage, to the disadvantage of the people. Why? Let me give you an example. Someone says, okay, I'll provide roads He gets there, no doubt the road to his house is not good. He gets there, the first contract he will award is the road to his house. I will provide employment opportunity. The first opportunity he will create are to members of his family or his political family. Are these ways of paying back those who voted him? Are these ways to implement the promises he has made to them?
The kind of politics that we play in this country, I will put it, in my own, coinage, that, politics of deceit. Because our politicians they are not sincere, they are not truthful, and I always call them that, politicians are better liars. Better liars in the sense that they knew their mindset is just to deceive, the electorate, the voters. They knew that, what, they promised, the people in their manifestos, that, may transform into policies, they are not going to implement, those, policies. It is for them to deceive the people just to get into offices.
Yes.
And now do their whole, selfish, interest, their buildings.
Yes.
Not, the people's,
You have touched me on my spot, on my injury spot. So, which means we voters must do something. Can we say we should stop agonizing and begin to organize ourselves? Don't forget, the politicians are organizing themselves now, arranging themselves, meeting and forming coalitions and groups towards the next election. We, the voters, are we not supposed to start doing that now?
There is unity in strength. I mean, there is strength in unity, just the single. That is why it's high time, the masses, the people, the electorates, start, organizing and speaking, in unison. That this is what, they want. So that the moment, we begin to form coalition and ensure that we speak with one voice.
Okay.
I think, the politician will sit right.
Yes.
And the moment they feel threatened, they now sit, up that, okay, this is what the people want, and they will do the right thing.
I guess this is a safe place to anchor or to hang today's program. The voters, the ball is always in your court anyway. You see all these people running up and down saying they are forming any coalition or meeting or grouping. It's not for your own interest, it's for their own personal interest. I can assure you, it is for we, the voters, to really sit down and look at it. Who will take care of our own interests with the fear of God? These ones, we look at them very well. They have the opportunities before. Did they play their role very well to now deserve a second chance? Or they are coming together just for malice or for evil or for their own selfish interest? Let us open our eyes very well. This is the time to organize ourselves, not the time to agonize. We should stop agonizing. Let us organize ourselves for a better Nigeria. This is the program for today. I want to thank you, guest coming back in today.
It's a pleasure, sir. Once again, sir.
Adeliji.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Really, we want to thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Really opened up one or two things to us today.